Hello, hello. So, it's been an eventful week and a half or so, right? Early last week, Jasco launched a new website, made a bunch of announcements. So, got a lot to cover. Gave it a little bit of time to see what else percolates out. There's, no shortage of snap reactions and things like that. And also, we get to catch the ban announcement this way. So, right at the top, first things first, kind of the most immediately important, there are no new cards getting banned or errataed for the month of August. It's the first Tuesday of the month, so they had their monthly ban errata announcement. They say they're not really going to do anything at this time. It's still early in the meta. They're a little bit worried about how much, presumably, the good symbol is being overrepresented. They said, symbol or symbols. They didn't really specify which one, but obviously it would be the good symbol if you've been looking at early tournament results. Maybe also Earth to some extent, but those are mostly overhauls and Nomus, I guess. So there's a lot of Earth as well, but nothing for now. So the next ban announcement is set to be the first Tuesday of September. If anything is announced there, it will not be in place for the Rochester RLE. The Rochester RLE will come the weekend after the ban announcement, and they delay these things until the next Monday. So unless they announce the change to that, it'll be, if they do touch anything, we'll have a bit of a weird lame duck tournament, so to say. But at the same time, part of the story of Kissimmee was that a lot of people thought Ojiro was getting banned, and that was part of the reason why people didn't play it, was just like they were going to need to find a different deck anyway, so why not just play something else? But so if they do touch something, maybe there just will be less of that appearing in Rochester just because people are preparing for nationals or whatever. But we'll see what comes of that. Maybe they just do nothing, right? We'll see. We have the Gencon tournament, the Gencon RLE, as well as the UK RLE coming up this month to change people's impressions of things, right? There's always a lot of results-oriented thinking and bandwagons and things like that, right? Yeah. As for the rest of the news, the main thing is that Jasco Games has now rebranded. They are now UVS Games. This was a long time coming. This was something that anybody who was, thought about the game enough and seen the past, knew what was going on. It was like, this is going to happen at some point. They clearly were wanting to do this for a little while. That Jasco Games stands for Jason Company. They are no longer the Jason Company. They don't want to deal with 10 years of stores and whatnot having whatever experiences they had with Jasco Games. They want to announce themselves as a new company, a new brand. So they have a new logo. They have a new website. There's some articles on the website explaining the rebrand and all of that. There's an interview, also video. All this stuff. There'll be a billion links in the description for all this. But yeah, we have a new website also. A new UVSgames.com website. The MHAcardgame.com website is supposed to be redirecting to it, and it sounds like it's working for some people, but not for others right now. Redirect DNS propagation can be a thing. It can take like a day or two. We're on a week and a half or something now, so something a little extra screwy going on that they need to sort out. But if you go to UVSgames.com, you will see a brand new website. It is the structure of it is generally much more thought out. There's a lot more, if you're new to the game and you don't know what this is, you actually have some places to go to, get a rough overview of what this game is and maybe learn how to play a little bit. Just better arranged overall. There's a dedicated organized play page instead of it just being a bunch of loose articles in the news archives, that sort of thing. Still some filling in they could be doing, still some typos and whatnot abound, some copy pastes that they didn't actually overwrite the way they needed to, and stuff like that going on, and maybe some other reorganization they can do going forward. But it's up, it looks great, and that's going to be our new home for information and news articles and whatnot from UVS Games. Along with this, of course, there's a new card back, a new card frame, and they replaced the resource symbols for the first time in 17 years. Their resource symbols had been stylized slightly more at one point, but first time they've wholesale replaced the resource symbols. This is mainly because they want to make them smaller and put them more on the bottom of the card because there's no more resource chaining. So resource symbols only really matter to cards like Irrefutable Force of Nature and the filters on your deck builder website, right? UVS Ultra right now, I'm sure they would like to make their own deck builder at some point, but So, you know, they figure they don't need to be taking so much space on the cards, but the old ones look kind of weird when you made them really small, so we have new ones now. You know, the card frames themselves, you know, a little bit more space for art, a little bit less stuff overlapping the art. You know, that was sort of a big goal of theirs, was to sort of let, you know, when they get this cool custom art done, let it stand out more. And so, yeah, the frames look, you know, at first blush, they look really nice. They look really, I'm searching for a word. It's not flashy. They look clean, right? They look pretty clean, pretty modern. We got a nice black border around the outside now. A lot of the stuff on the cards, the game information is smaller. Mostly not to any ill effect, as people are complaining about the symbols, but we'll have to see. You know, these things always look different in physical cardboard. We'll have to see, you know, when we're actually sitting down on the table and these cards are in sleeves and across the table. Can we make out what the symbols are or not? Can we get used to what they are, what the colors are, that sort of thing? It's going to take a little bit of time. But yeah, you know, some concerns about, you know, possible colorblind issues with these cards. There's a lot of like yellow on orange on orange on orange yellow, but again, this is all on a computer screen when the monitor is literally lighting up the colors for you. It can be a little bit different than when it's on physical cardboard. So a little bit wait and see. And then I think overall they look really good though. You know, personally, you know, similarly card back, not featured here. If you're listening to this video, you've probably seen it anyway. But yeah, aside from that, we have our first new IPs, our first new properties coming to the game besides MHA-CCG under the new ownership, under now UVS Games. It's going to be Trigun Stampede and Cowboy Bebop returning to the game. And in the interview video, they didn't go into like any real specifics about other IPs. They mentioned a bunch of company names that it's very obvious that they, you know, obviously they've talked to Netflix, obviously they've talked to Aniplex, obviously they're still talking to Funimation and whatnot, obviously they've talked to Capcom, like everyone you would expect, right? The way this licensing works, I guess if you weren't around old Jasco, the way this works is they talk to everybody, right? You talk to everybody, you have all the conversations, it's not a like, we're going to target this one thing and not talk to anybody else sort of thing. So they're talking to lots of people, they're getting whatever they can get pretty much. But somewhere in there, it was implied in the video that one of them is going to be a non-anime IP. That's kind of the only significant information from that video. It's kind of just a fluff. You know, Paul and Luhan talking about sort of introducing, you know, themselves and the company for people that might not know it pretty much. But they didn't say there's a non-anime IP. They just said they're going to have an IP that doesn't have any screenshots in it. And it seems pretty unlikely that they would get an anime IP and not use a single screenshot, right? So they have some sort of IP coming up where everything's going to be some sort of custom art for it. So, you know, just give a rough idea. This isn't going to be strictly the anime card game. Basically, is all that's saying. Yeah, so part of this, so part of the way they're going to do these new IPs is going to be with a new product called the Challenger Series decks. These are going to be 2 pre-constructed decks. They're going to be 60 cards. They're going to have extra little collector's packs with some alt arts and some foils in them, I believe, that are a little more randomized, so that to try to incentivize people to buy more than 1 or 2 of these if they want to sort of bling out their deck or get some value or that sort of thing. These are, you know, so the first pair is going to come out this fall sometime, they say. It'll be, you know, a Trigun deck, a Trigun Stampede deck, and a Cowboy Bebop deck. We know that Cowboy Bebop from the website banner is going to be Spike and Faye. Each of these decks is going to be able to run off of 2 different characters, and the other deck is going to be Vash and Question Mark. We don't know who. We can assume Wolfwood if the other one's Spike and Faye, but, you know, it could be Knives. We'll see. So, you know, look forward to those. They are going to come in without a format. Right now, there's no... I mean, obviously, you know, the current standard format, they would be a part of that, but that's not really supported by UVS Games in any meaningful way right now. So, but they say that they're going to have some announcements about formats and whatnot, but presumably before these come out. Sounds like they haven't really decided exactly what they want to do to try to get these new IPs into the fold yet. So once they have that sorted out, we'll find out. And really, as long as that information comes before these hit the store shelves or before stores have to pre-order them, then it doesn't really matter how long they take to hash this out. It's just kind of weird that they couldn't pre-decide this, right? There's nothing stopping them, but you know, they have to prioritize, and you know, they decide to wait to have these conversations, I guess. Otherwise, you know, obviously, upcoming set for the Universus booster set, the My Hero Academia format, the 6th MHA set, Jet Burn. They've announced that as both 2023 and they have announced it as winter, which is... It's kind of hard to do both those things. You kind of have to release it exactly on Christmas week. So we don't really have a whole lot of clarity on which thing it is. It is either, you know, like Q4 of 2023, or it is in the winter next year, probably. Guessing most likely the former. It's probably just, the winter is probably just like a throwaway that... It was something that they said in their video with the rebranding, right? It wasn't like a written piece of text that somebody proofread or anything like that. So most likely it's Q4 2023, you know, thinking November sometime, probably after Nationals. So yeah, Jetburn coming there. We got some information on Jetburn. Chromes are coming back. They're going back to being characters this time. The non-characters, while cool, haven't really... I had never heard of a Chrome Rare actually selling on the market until like today. Finally saw a couple of them sell for like $700. So, you know, people not, you know, they're cool. People are happy to open them, but not really the secondary market excitement that you had for the character card Chrome Rares. So they're going to be going back to characters for the next set. They're also adding an extra form of special rare you can get. 1 in 18 packs is going to have an alternate art character, they're saying. I guess this would be like 1 in 3 XRs as an alternate art character, or that's going to be an extra type of thing you can get in addition to XRs, or in the slot that would go to an XR in the pack. We don't know the exact math on that, but these alt art characters are not only going to be from Jetburn, there's going to be some from older sets as well. Alt art characters are always very popular. This is, you know, pretty exciting. We'll see which ones they pick and see how good the art looks. If it's anything like the alt art Jiro, the alt art Todoroki, these are going to be very, very popular. So that's really a big thing to be looking forward to in terms of opening these packs, getting more value, getting more bling, more cool stuff to collect that you'll probably, you know, legitimately want, right? If the character you play has an alt art version, a lot of people want to get that, right? It's your character, it's the face of your deck, and all that stuff. Similarly, they're not going to do pre-release promos anymore. Instead, there's going to be it's going to be random, I believe, an XR or an alt art character, or possibly an XR character or an alt art character. It's going to come in the little pre-release boxes that they're doing, because, you know, pre-release promos it's very weird having a promo that you only get by attending pre-releases, especially if it's like a card that you ostensibly 4x in your deck. They kind of just have to go on redemption and become redemption-only cards, effectively. So they're doing with that. It was silly. We're getting something probably cooler in the pre-release packs instead. So lots to look forward to with this Jetburn set, in addition to, of course, Hawks is going to be in the set. They previewed Hawks. They previewed Hawk's Feather, which is tied to the character in the same way that Summon Dark Shadow is tied to Tokoyami. It's part of his mechanic. And he could be pretty good. You know, we'll have to see what the rest of his support is and all of that. Of course, we know that Endeavor's in the set, and we could assume, just from the cards that they showed in the card frame article, we know that and from the name of the set, obviously the Hooded Nomu is in the set. Not really sure if that's going to be a Nomu 2 dot, if they're going to call it Hooded Nomu, if they're going to call it Hood or whatnot, but also the card number on this, 153, if they are still excluding starters from that card count like they did in Undaunted Raid, this is going to be a very large set, which should, you know, make it all the more interesting for draft and sealed, and, you know, also make it a little more to collect, make you feel a little bit better generally about, you know, the end boxes that you get to collect rares or whatever to whale out. It's going to take you more boxes to get all the commons and uncommons, so you feel a little less bad about that generally. At least that's how I see it anyway. But yeah, and the last thing to touch on is these Gencon promos. So they showed these off, the art for these off a while ago. The reason we didn't get to see what cards they were was because they're going to use the new card frames. They are a Deku, a Bakugo, a Zero Gravity Capture. I'm gonna fail to recite these all from memory. One of them is Cool Student with Todoroki on it. One of it is a Snack Time with Kirishima on it. Oh, and there's either one for Class 1A President. So a little bit of a little all over the place. You know, 2 character cards, 4 cards with the full gamut of playability. You have a couple kind of niche ones, and Snack Time is obviously nuts. And then Cool Student, which sees some play here and there. But the way that you're going to get these, they just finally told us you're going to get these after like 2 weeks of just kind of not saying anything about it and just kind of trolling us by reposting the same article over and over again. But you're going to be able to get them from the stuff that you would expect, right? If you do a survey, you get one. You show them your UGN account, you get one. You show them that you're following them on socials, you get one. The classic, you'll post about our cards on the socials, and you can get 2 for doing that. And the 6th one you can get for playing in a side event at the regional, which you will not be able to do if you top cuts. But you also get one when you buy a playmat. They don't really specify if you pick which one you get, or how they're going to track this even. Are you going to like carry around a little checklist? The actual specific mechanics of this are still wanting a lot of details, but basically nothing shocking, nothing that's going to be mega time consuming outside of, presumably that survey is kind of short, but, taking a survey is going to take a little bit of time, and obviously if you play in a side event, that's going to, that's going to take a chunk of your time, but also hopefully be pretty fun. So yeah, and the mats, the 4 mats, the 4 different colors will be purchasable at the booth. All right, and that is everything, I believe. That is certainly a lot. I'm trying to look over, see if there's anything I forgot to mention that I wanted to mention here. I don't believe so. So yeah, all right, we'll wrap it up there. I leave for Indianapolis in 15 hours. So looking forward to that. If you're going to be at Gencon, I will see you there. I will be wandering the vendor hall for the first 2 days for sure, and then we'll play in the RLE and see where we go from there. So I'll either see you there, or if not, I'll catch you in the next video. All right, have a good night.